Well, good evening. My name is Kevin Skinner. I'm the associate pastor here at First Baptist Watauga. Let me just give a quick welcome to our First Baptist Watauga family and to any First Baptist Watauga friends that may be watching this video as well. Thank you for joining me tonight. It's no secret that today has been a major day in our nation, January 6, 2021, as we think about the electoral college votes being tabulated by our House and Senate, as we think about the rallies and the protests that are occurring in our nation's capital. Today truly has been a major day for our nation. And so what I'd like to do right now, first I want to just give you a reminder. In the midst of everything going on, on social media, in the midst of everything going on the news, there's just so much that we're being bombarded with right now. So let me start with a reminder for you. I posted this on Facebook earlier today, but as we know, right, there were decisions being made in Washington, D.C. today. But what I posted on Facebook earlier today, and some of you may have already seen this, I posted there are three things that were not being decided in Washington today. First, where I place my faith was not being decided in Washington today. Where I find my hope was not being decided in Washington today. And where I receive my salvation was not being decided in Washington today. Those three things are found in Jesus Christ and in Jesus Christ alone. And for me, that decision was made 34 years ago when I gave my life to Christ. And so I just want to give you that reminder, because if you have given your life to Christ, then today your faith, your hope, and your salvation was not decided in Washington, D.C. And so I want to start with that reminder. Let me also say this. In the midst of all of this, I'm reminded of what we have on our bills. This is a $10 bill that I had in my wallet. And on our bills it says, "In God we trust." This has, of course, been a mantra for our nation for many, many years, whether it's simply something we have printed on our bills or truly in practice. But it is a mantra of our nation. My desire for us, though, for us as believers, and specifically for us as believers at First Baptist Watauga, would not be that we just have "In God We Trust" written on our bills, but that we would have "In God We Trust" written on our hearts. And so let me encourage you that it is the Lord that we trust in. We've got it on our bills, but is it in our hearts? It is God that we trust in. And in the midst of this world, in the midst of the chaos, in the midst of everything going on, in God we trust. And so for me, that's not just on my bills. That's written on my heart. I trusted God when President Obama was president. I trusted God when President Trump was president. And regardless of what the future holds, I'm going to trust God. For any future president, I'm going to continue to trust God because my trust is not in man, and your trust should not be in man either. So I wanted to give you that reminder. Second, I want to offer you a word of hope. So I was led to Psalm 27 today, verses 1 through 6. This is I read this a couple of times today, and so I just want to read this to you right now and allow for these words from God's word to be a message of hope to you tonight. "The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom should I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Whom should I dread? When evildoers came against me to devour my flesh, my foes and my enemies stumbled and fell. Though an army deploys against me, my heart will not be afraid. Though a war breaks out against me, I will still be confident. I have asked one thing from the Lord. It is what I desire, to dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, gazing on the beauty of the Lord and seeking him in his temple. for he will conceal me in his shelter in the day of adversity. He will hide me under the cover of his tent. He will set me high on a rock. Then my head will be high above my enemies around me. I will offer sacrifices in his tent with shouts of joy. I will sing and make music to the Lord. Now, let me say this, because we may have people watching this right now that are on the right side of things, and we may have people watching that are on the left side of things, and you may think that I'm coming out in support of one side or the other. And let me say this: I'm not trying to direct your attention to the right or the left. I want to direct your attention up to the Lord. That's where David was writing. He was focused upward. He was focused on the Lord, because what he realized is that man cannot save us. Man can't always be trusted, right? There are evildoers that come against us. And so in the midst of the world that we live in, I don't look to the right and I don't look to the left. I look up to the Lord. And that's where our attention needs to be. Our attention needs to be up. Our attention needs to be on the Lord. He is our stronghold. And I love that in the midst of what David is saying here, he says, I have asked one thing from the Lord. It is what I desire, to dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life. His desire is to simply be in the presence of God, in the presence of the Lord. And that's my desire. I want to walk with the Lord. I want to be in the presence of the Lord. In all of this mess, it's the Lord that's going to carry me through. It's the Lord, and it's the Lord that's going to carry you through this. And it's the Lord that will carry our nation through this. And so, in the midst of all of this, we need to look to Him. We need to turn to Him. We need to cry out to Him. And so, if I could, I want to issue to First Baptist Watauga members specifically a call to pray. For us to put into practice these words, in God we trust. And so let me issue this call to pray for members of First Baptist Watauga. And if you're a friend of First Baptist Watauga, if you're just watching this video and you want to join in prayer with us, great. We need more people praying. So, but let me specifically offer this to our members of First Baptist Watauga. So let me first specifically give you a specific call to pray. Over the next week, over the next 7 days, it's Wednesday right now, so from Wednesday to next Wednesday, for the next week, let me just ask you to set a specific time that you're going to pray for our nation every single day. For me, it's going to be at 6 a.m. in the morning. I'm going to commit to pray for our nation at that time every single day. And so be intentional. Set a time for yourself. Maybe you've got to set an alarm, even maybe an alarm on your phone just to remind you in the middle of the day, I need to stop and pray. But set a time for yourself that every day from Wednesday to Wednesday, you're going to pray for our nation. But then let me also encourage you to pray in this way. All right, that's the more specific way. But let me also encourage you to pray in this way. In the midst of all of this, oftentimes we find our mind being drawn to what's going on in politics, what's going on in our world. And so I would just ask you, every single time that the election comes to your mind, every single time that politics come to your mind, every single time that this nation comes to your mind, that you would stop in that moment and take it to the Lord in prayer. The temptation may be to hop onto social media and maybe to read some posts or maybe to make some posts, but let me encourage you, when you are reminded of those things, take it to the Lord in prayer. Go to the Lord in prayer. He is our hope. He is our hope. And if we truly believe that, if we truly believe that He is our hope, then He's the one that we need to be going to. If we truly believe that He hears us and answers us, then He's the one that we need to be going to. And so let me just once again remind you, right? I'm not directing you right or left. I'm directing you up, because He is the one that we need to put our hope and our trust in. And so let me encourage you with that call to pray. And so what I want to do right now, before we end this, I want to simply pray with you right now as we've looked at God's Word, as we've been reminded of the hope that we have in Him. Let me just pray with you right now. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, my heart is heavy right now for the nation. It's so divided right now, and it's hard to know what the truth is. There's just so much out there. It's hard to know what's truth, what's lies. And so, Lord, we just look to you, because at the end of the day, Lord, I know that you are truth. At the end of the day, I know your words are truth. At the end of the day, I know that I can trust you. At the end of the day, I know I can hope in you. And so, Lord, I confess to you right now that I do not look to man for my hope. I don't look to man for my salvation. Lord, I look to you and to you alone. And so I pray, Lord, for peace in this nation. I pray, Lord, that your will would prevail. Lord, that your kingdom would come on earth as it is in heaven. God, we turn it all over to you, and we simply confess that we trust you. Lord, may it not just be written on our bills, but may it be written on our hearts. It's in your name I pray. Amen.